Hi there everybody, it's Verity here from inkybutterfly.com. Thank you so much for joining me today for a card making video, and this one is my design team make for the Inspire.Create.Challenge, and we are all casing a card made by one of the other D team members this time around. So if you pop along to the blog, you'll be able to see the original card on there as well as all the other variations thereof from the design team. Okay, so some of the features that were on that original card were a mixture of embossed panels, and I think on the original it looks like designer series paper to me. I've decided to stamp mine with some florals in there too, so this is my interpretation of that. Okay, and I'm going to show you how you can partially die cut a card, not die cut, emboss a card with an embossing folder, and do this layered looks. That is a single panel; it's not two panels glued together. I've done it as one, so you can do it as two panels, but like I say, I'm going to show you how you can achieve that without that. Okay. So let's get cracking. This particular colour combination was Petal Pink and Calypso Coral with Pear Pizzazz and some gold accents. Okay, and I've used a floral embossing folder. So we're going to change things up a little bit. Still going to use Two-Tone Flora, coordinating dies, and the sentiment is from Something Fancy. So those are the sort of stamps and dies that we're working with. Just pop those to one side. Okay. So preparation wise, we've got basic white card base, and then I've cut a panel for the front. This is a normal size panel which measures 4 inches wide by 5 3/4 high, and I've just popped a score line in there at 3 inches because that was nice and easy to remember, basically. Okay, just pop that in there. So that is just above halfway, but only by a fraction. Okay, but it will serve the purpose of what we're doing today. So the first thing we're going to do is do the stamped portion along the bottom. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do is do a little bit of a mask. You can use tape or whatever, but I thought I'll just bring in a post-it note. Something that hopefully people have. It's easily and readily available, so one of these larger post-it notes, and we'll just bring in a mat to work on so that I can stamp off the edge. Okay, and for this portion I'm actually going to use Pool Party ink. We're going to go with blue tones for this card. We're using Pool Party, and instead of that single bloom, I'm going to bring in another image from that stamp set, which is this little cluster of flowers. Okay, and we're just going to basically fill the bottom of this with these flowers. And you know what, I'm not going to worry too much about missing bits and bobs here and there. Okay, we're just going to fill that page. My Pool Party ink pad is desperately in need of re-inking, but what it actually does in sort of a happy accident is it just gives a bit more texture to the stamp, gives you a bit of gradient here and there. Okay, with some being lighter than others. Okay, sort of twisting the paper, twisting the stamp, just to try and get different portions there, and aiming to cover most of that page, alright, with that light and dark ink. You could optionally, on this one, I did go round and blend the edges a bit. Okay, I'm going to skip it on this one and just for something, another different element that we can do. Okay, so that's the bottom portion all done. So we've got our nice sort of two-tone look on there. And of course you can reuse those post-it notes to a degree. Okay, so pop that to one side for a second, and we need to emboss the top portion. And I've decided to pull in this lovely quatrefoil folder. The other one, oh gosh, I don't actually know the name of the other one, but I'll link it in the product list anyway. So what we actually want to do is only emboss a portion of this. So when you're embossing with a folder, obviously the pressure is going to be applied over the parts of the card that are covered by the embossing folder. So if we want to just do a portion of it, we can just slot the card in, and you can see on there where the design sort of starts. I am sort of lining it up because it's sort of a symmetrical kind of look. Okay, so I'm trying to get it straight-ish with the with that line across the middle. If it overlaps this pull party bit though, that's not necessarily a bother, because we're going to put a little bit of ribbon across the middle there. Okay, so with our Stampin' Cut and Emboss, this is a regular embossing folder, it isn't a 3D folder, so we just need to sandwich that between two cutting plates, and so long as this portion is in is between plates, i.e. we'll have the pressure applied to it, then that's going to work just fine. Okay, we don't need the number 2 plate, we just need the number 1, 2 number 3s, and we're just going to feed that through the machine. So it just sort of pops out the back. Number 2 plate back in, ready for our die cut elements later. So even though this is a it's not a 3D embossing folder, but look at the depth you get on this. Isn't that so cool? Right, I love it, love it, love it. Okay, it's a really, really pretty pretty die embossing folder. I keep saying die. Embossing folder. Okay, so we've instantly got this two-tone look on that piece of card. But like I say, equally you could have done that in 2 sections quite easily, if you find that easier. Okay, so while we've got this piece in our hands, I'm just going to secure our ribbon across the back there, and I'm using Pool Party Grosgrain ribbon, I think it's called. Yep. So we'll just cut a length of that off. And just, because you can see on the background, on the back, where the where that point is, it's quite easy to line it up. So we can do that like so. And at this point you can decide whether you want it exactly across the middle, a little bit lower, you know, more in line with the stamping, or a bit higher, more in line with the embossing. So, you know, you've got a bit of wriggle room on that border there. On this one, because it was a sheer ribbon, not that you can see it that much, I opted to have it more over the embossed area so that the orange ink didn't show through it quite as much. But say it's entirely optional how you want to play that, really. And now that that's in place, we can actually secure it to a card base. So let's get that done now, and then we can do the other elements of the card. So this flat portion is really nice and easy to secure with seal, but you may find that it's a little tricky to do on the to use with the embossed portion. So I'm just going to bring in some wet glue to put over that embossed section there, a reasonable amount of it, because that texture is going to want to sort of resist being flattened, if you know what I mean. So I'm just going to use the that bottom edge there to line it up. Just bear in mind as well that sometimes, it hasn't happened on this one, I did notice it on the other one, which is bizarre as this one seems a little bit more textured than the other one, but I found that that one just shrank a little bit with the embossing. It sometimes happens, so it's just something to be aware of. Okay, and again, I don't want to crease across the front there, so I'm just going to reinforce that crease on the back, just so that I don't squash my embossing. Okay, so that's our card base done. Okay, got a bit of scrap card here. In fact, I need a couple of scraps actually. Let's bring in another scrap, because we want to die cut a circle. So I'm going to bring in the stylish shapes here actually. On the original card I've used the second largest circle. I felt like it was a bit big, so I'm going to try using this one instead. So that's 1, 2, 3 on the stylish shapes. So I'm just going to pop that on the plate ready, so I can just sort of load these up, so you can cut multiple things at the same time. I have done a bit of stamping ahead of time and the die cutting, so we're only going to do some portions of this. Okay, so this is the combo I'm going to use for the sort of floral elements here. These are all in colours as well, so even better. So Parakeet Party is what we're going to use for our foliage. So we want light tapping all across the ink pad, and we're going to pop that in place there. Okay. Running out of desk space. Okay. And then Two-Tone Floras. I've already done 2 small flowers, but I want to use one of the larger flowers as well. So with the Two-Tone Flora, you get a solid ink stamp and a sort of an outline image. Okay, so it's a bit of a toss-up as to which you stamp first. Sometimes I personally find that it varies whether I prefer to use the line image or the solid image. It really does depend. For these particular flowers, I find that it's easier to line up this one over the top of the lines. Okay, so we're going to do the lines first in the darker colour, which is Starry Sky. Okay, so we're going to pop that in place somewhere around there. Okay, the other thing I want to do while that's out actually is I'm going to use the scrap on this bit, I think. Yep. To just stamp my sentiment as well, so that we can get that die cut at the same time as well. The sentiment's from Something Fancy, so we're just using a happy birthday, so I'm just going to pop that on the bottom of this piece over here, and we can stamp die cut that at the same time. So, sorry, just jumping about a bit there while I've got things thinking about in my head. So we'll pop that there, and then we've still got room to do our circle, so we can do that. And then just to finish off this flower with Tahitian Tide. So again, we're going to ink up the stamp, and we're going to hover over the top until we line up some of those key points. And you know what, if it's slightly off, it isn't going to matter too much, but actually this one's really nice and easy to line up, so hopefully you could see how that was working out, and we get this lovely two-tone flower, as the name would suggest. Okay, right, so stamps out of the way, and we'll get these die cut. So where did I put the dies? I put them over there. Silly, just trying to keep my desk free of stuff and then put away the things that I needed. It's this one on there. So you've got dies that pretty much cut out every flower in this set, which is also are very, very awesome and very, very useful. Even that little one for the background, there's a die for that too. Okay, so just securing these with some low tack tape, and again these are nice and easy to line up. Just look for a couple of little reference points there, and we can pop those through. So long as those dies don't overlap on your plate, okay, you're good to go. All of these individually fit through the mini cut and emboss as well, so that's something else to bear in mind. But like I say, I want to do all of these in one fell sweep, so I'm just going to use the larger machine and get all those done all at the same time. Okay, so there's our flower. So I'd already done a few of those. So I've done 3. I only used 2 on the sample card, but we're using more flowers this time. And then I've done 2 more of the smaller flower in exactly the same way as the larger one. So the pressure of the plates just mean that these sometimes stick a little bit. Okay, that's fine. No harm, no foul. Sentiments. Sort of collecting bits as I go, chucking away little bits. Our little circle. Put that die away before it goes walkies. And those. Okay. So just to build up the card then. So I often will try and do this, almost dry build it, have a look at how I want things to work out before I commit to putting anything together. That's the way up. It's better. Okay. Only because I'm just using a slightly different combination of flowers and a different kind of ribbon, so you know it's all gonna look a little different. Okay. In fact, I might have that big flower sort of towards the front. Maybe only need 2. Okay, and then we'll tuck in the leaves where we think they need to go. Okay. And the other thing we need to do is tie a little bow. So we'll get that done now as well, so that we've got that to play in our composition. Good and tight on the first knot, fiddle about with it, and really tight again. Okay, it's a thicker ribbon, so you're going to have to give it a bit of welly to get that to play ball, and then cut your tails together and you'll get a nice even tail. Like so. So just pull them around a little bit so they sit. Okay, right, let's do this. So I think this is going to go higher up this time round, so I think I'm going to put it something like there. And again, because we're sticking over that textured surface, I'm going to use some wet glue for that. Being quite generous with it. But the other thing I'm going to do actually is bring in a glue dot, which will help secure this to that ribbon. Okay, oops. Just going to pop that down there. So that's really strong, and it's just much better to secure the fabric, and that's what I will be putting the bow on with as well. So we're just going to pop that in place about there. Just give that a minute to adhere. I think what we'll do as well is we'll have a look at where this needs to go in relation to the sentiments, because obviously that's going to, those tails will, oh, that could be cute actually, let's do that. So we'll set that down low there, pop it in our sentiment, and I'm going to do that on some mini dimensionals. That's a bit on the skinny side, so let's pop a couple of those on. Sorry if you can hear my cat. So we'll pop that in there, just where it's not going to be obscured by that ribbon. And then we can pop in our blooms. Okay, I'm thinking we might just need the 2 flowers. Yep, okay, we're just going to do the 2 flowers. So I'm going to pop some dimensionals on the back of those as well. I'm going to pop that off to one side a little bit, because I think that's going to be where I need that. Like so, because I still want to be able to see the circle. And then we just want some greenery, just to sort of complete it really, because I don't think, you know, florals without any greenery, kind of, it's like Harry without Ron in it really. Okay, that looks good to me. So again, we'll bring in our wet glue. Just a little bit. Just sort of tuck that raw end in, just so you can't see it. Actually, that overhanging the sentiment a little bit is cool as well. Rightio, there we go. I just need, oh man, we always need embellishments, right? So let's just pop those away, out of the way. Let's make that tail sit a little bit. I really like that. It's really cute. Really, really cute. And do we need any bit? You know what? I'm going to skip it. I'm not going to put any gems on it. I'm going to leave it like that. Okay, so that is my take on the card for today. Okay, everything will be linked in the description, both to the challenge directly and to the blog post where I describe, well, I list all the things that are in that card, and you'll be able to see the original sample on both of those. You'll see it in my blog and at the challenge blog as well. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and it's given you an idea of how you can mix those textures and things. Please do participate. You just need to upload a photo to the gallery on that Inspire.Create blog post, and we will pick a winner and announce that next time. Thanks for joining me today. Hope you're staying safe. Take care. See you later. Bye.